A notorious serial killer has escaped, looking for revenge.
His mind was dissected by psychiatry.
Hello everyone and welcome to another video by Centipede Geek. Today I'm going to discuss my thoughts and opinions upon the NBC original television series by the name of Hannibal. I'm going to discuss my thoughts and opinions upon episode 11 titled Roti. And without any further ado, let's go and get to it, shall we? So once again we have Eddie Izzard as our special guest, and just so you guys know, major spoilers coming up. You know, Eddie Izzard plays the character of Abel Gideon. And Abel Gideon, I believe that's his name, excuse me if it's not, but anyways, I'm just going to call him that. Abel goes and actually escapes in this episode while being shipped to somewhere else. And he escapes, and pretty much in this episode, he is trying to find the Chesapeake Ripper and contact him. That way he can find out, because our character, Abel Gideon, believes he is actually the Chesapeake Ripper, and he, in this episode, he is pretty much trying to realize and, find himself, or otherwise, find his destiny or his purpose in life in general. It's pretty much about Abel Gideon trying to find the Chesapeake Ripper. So he captured one of his previous psychiatrists and puts him on a table and starts cutting organs out of him in order to get the Chesapeake Ripper's attention. Well, he escapes and actually goes to target, I forget her name, but it's Will Graham's love interest in the show. He goes to target her, and then, major spoilers coming up, towards the end of this episode, Will Graham has a major seizure before this scene happens, and Will Graham actually kills Eddie Izzard's character. And that's pretty much the main gist of the episode 11 titled Roti for the NBC original television series by the name of Hannibal. Many other things happen in this episode. What this episode was mainly about, besides, Abel Gideon escaping and getting killed and stuff like that, was, this series has pretty much been setting up for Will Graham's, breakdown. He has been breaking down in every episode. His hallucinations have started off mild. He was having, seeing the elk and stuff like that, but now, as the series has progressed as a whole, his hallucinations have started to get more extreme. And there's an amazing, and I mean downright phenomenal scene towards the beginning of this episode where he is sleeping and he begins to sweat majorly. He's been sweating a lot lately, I noticed. And pretty much what happens is in a dream sequence, he sees this huge tsunami coming up towards the totem pole of bodies that we saw previous episodes ago, and he wakes up and all of a sudden his room is filled with water. His body disappears off into that water, and then of course he wakes up out of the dream sequence. That was a great episode, and the hallucinations in episode 11 titled Roti for the NBC original television series by the name of Hannibal only get worse. This episode is pretty much about Will Graham's character breaking down to the core. He's starting to forget who he even is. He says a quote in this episode. It's a brilliant script, by the way, where he feels like he's spilling out. And then, Lawrence Fishburne's character, plays Jack Crawford. Jack Crawford looks at him with, kind of this weird look, and it's just, oh gosh, Hannibal is getting so good. Will Graham is breaking down. He's not even realizing who he is. He goes to Dr. Hannibal Lecter in this episode, tells him he brought Eddie Izzard, and of course Lecter lies to him saying, no, you came alone. And it seems that towards the end of this episode, Lecter goes and sees the psychiatrist that he always sees, and he says, hey, what should I do about this situation? And the psychiatrist says, you should watch him fall. And of course, Hannibal Lecter, the series has been progressing. Lecter and Will Graham, they have formed this sort of, I guess you could say, a friendship. And Lecter is at a crossroads. He's at a predicament in his life. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he should tell Will Graham the truth or if he should just, watch him fall. So that's just a great, turn of events that I love where the series is going as a whole. Anyways, that's pretty much the main gist of the NBC original television series by the name of Hannibal for episode 11 titled Roti. Overall, my thoughts and opinions on episode 11 of Hannibal, I loved this episode. This episode is the reason I love this series so dearly. The script, the dialogue is written in such a precise way where it's just downright amazing, fun, and both entertaining to watch all of these characters just, do their handiwork. It's great to watch every character deliver their line in such a unique way where it just gives their character so much depth, so much life, and fleshes them out, and it's just great to watch each character. One of my favorite actors in this episode is a guy by the name of Eddie Izzard, and like I said in my other review, Eddie Izzard is the guy who played who played the grandpa character in the remake of the Mockingbird Lane that was only, an hour long because they scrapped it after that. He plays Abel Gideon, and though his character was killed off in this episode, major spoiler, I really liked him. There was a scene where he did what they call the colonial necktie, and that's when you cut the tongue out, and you stick it through the neck, and you hang it as if the tongue is a necktie on the neck. And there was a scene where he was talking about that, and that was a great scene. There's another scene where he has a psychiatrist. He starts cutting the organs out and saying, oh, it's unbelievable how, a human can survive without their organs. Let's see how many you can survive with. He says something along the lines, though not that exactly, and starts taking, all his organs out. And it's a crazy scene, cuts his stomach, and the guy's supposedly still alive, it seems like. He was on a ventilator last time we saw him with our, I believe her name is Freddie Lounge, because Abel Gideon called Freddie Lounge and wanted her to write a story on what he was doing. But this episode, Eddie Izzard really steals the show in this. And Will Graham does too, played by Hugh Dancy. Hugh Dancy, there's a scene with his character where he literally, his eyes start to roll in the back of his head. He starts to sweat a lot, and his head just starts to move around, and his character starts to have a seizure. And I've never really seen that too much. I've never seen a person in real life have a seizure. So that moment was kind of a scary moment for that character, because I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? I was beginning to feel for that character as a whole, because throughout the series, I've become to feel close to each and every one of the characters, and have sympathy for each and every one of them. And whenever Will Graham's character started to have that seizure itself, I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? And Hannibal Lecter, looked at him, and it was a great scene. And the best thing about this episode was watching Will Graham psychologically break down and no longer know, what he's even supposed to be doing. So that was just a great psychological aspect. And like I said, the dialogue in this series and in this episode in full is just amazing. I love every line that the characters say. Anyways, that's pretty much my thoughts and opinions upon episode 11 titled Roti for the NBC original television series by the name of Hannibal. Only 2 weeks left of Hannibal. It will June 13th is called Relieves. Episode 13, the finale is called Savorex, and it premieres June 20th. So we only got 2 more weeks, June 13th and June 20th. And then we'll have to wait till 2014 for Season 2 of Hannibal. And thank God it's already been picked up for Season 2. I can't wait to see where the series is going to go. There was rumors going around that David Bowie was going to play Hannibal's uncle in the next season, though I don't know if that's been confirmed yet. I don't think it has. Though I will keep you informed if it does end up being confirmed. Anyways, I'll keep doing weekly reviews of this, and I'll probably make a whole Season 1 review when the series itself ends. Anyways, once again, thanks for watching the video by Centipede Geek for my NBC original television review of the NBC original television series by the name of Hannibal for episode 11 titled Roti. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on my page below, and I'll see you guys later with more videos by Centipede Geek.